ovo sad moje? Da. Dobro.
Welcome. Everybody take a seat. Are we ready? I remember when I first saw 360 virtual walks on one of our clients' websites, and I thought, oh my God, this is so cool. Everybody should have that. And luckily, we have these two guys that are going to tell us everything about it, and hopefully all of you will implement it as well. Please give a warm welcome to Roman and Luka.
So, can you hear me all right? Is the volume okay? Okay, thanks a lot. So, hello everyone. We are here to talk, as the lovely lady introduced, about a wonderful piece of technology called 360 Virtual Walks. But also, I hope we are here to talk about something a little bit more. I would like to take this time to firstly extend an invitation to all of us charter professionals and especially the Croatian market participants, whether you are charters or agents or work with the industry in any other way. I believe that with technologies such as this one, it gives us a chance to start working together even more where we can. And let's try and use this to bring innovation to the market, to our clients, and to differentiate the whole Croatian charter market from the rest of the world. Here on the stage with me is Roman Martin, the man behind the camera, the one who will showcase how this technology is being created and implemented into your websites and products and offerings. So, let us continue. We are number one. I'm sure that most of you know this fact. Croatia, by statistics, is the number one market in something. What is it number one in? It's number one in volume. So I took a little bit of statistics. I personally dug into large available sail yacht and charter vessel databases, and this is the data that I actually found. Roughly every fourth vessel available for charter in the complete world is currently situated in this little country. Also, what I think is equally interesting is that the sizes of the countries are in real comparison. So we are also the smallest country in the world to host such a big number of charter fleets. Please keep in mind that these percentages show every single type of vessel available for charter. So they can be smaller, they rental boats or taxi boats, or sail yachts, or catamarans, or powerboats. This should encompass everything. But of course, being number one in volume is only one thing. One can be number one in many things. As you can see on the slide, we can be number one in profits, we can be number one in revenues, in sustainability, in the number of industry employees or professionals working within our industry. We can have a highest average rating of our product or service. We can be first in sustainability. We can be first in a lot of things. But for me personally, there is one term, one topic that I think sits well above all the others. That would be, of course, innovation that you can see here. Not because I think it's more important than any of these terms, but just for one to be innovative, you need to have profits. You need to have stable revenues because innovation takes investments. You cannot achieve employee satisfaction or try to achieve sustainability or try to push your average ratings without being creative and innovative. But also for me, the biggest fact why I put forth innovation is because it requires collaboration. Innovation is rarely done by one person, one department, one company. Sometimes it takes more industries as well. So, one second. This technology also needs collaboration. Somebody needs to create it, others need to host it. some need to mass communicate it, somebody needs to use it as a sales tool, and in the end, as with any tool or piece of technology that serves a product or service, it simply has to have a group that has superior benefits from something previously being used in the market during your sales process. So, in a short way, in order for the 360 technology to work, content creators and technology providers need to create something that all of us in the charter business have to use. We have some of us have the task of mass communicating it. Others, such as charter professionals or agents or any other partners, need to use it as a sales tool, need to mention it every time during the sales process. And in the end, it's the clients who should have some superior benefits. In this case, they should have a far superior way of getting to know the boat they perhaps will charter the following season. For my first part, I just wanted to point something that for me personally is really, really important. This technology simply provides better transparency. As I always say, what you see is what you get. We cannot simply imagine offering the 360 virtual walk for a certain type of sail yacht or any other vessel, knowing that the person that will book it eventually and end up on it receives some other type of a vessel. I can tell you from personal experience, being from the youngest member of our European family from Croatia, it's not always easy to speak to partners from far developed countries, and sometimes we need to spend a little bit more time to develop this trust. And I think this technology can really help fast track that as well in our charter industry. And now I give my floor to Roman. He will showcase what this all is about, and later on I'll jump in with some data points and other interesting stuff. Roman, take it away.
Thank you, Luka. Once again, thank you all for coming here, and you're welcome, and I'm very pleased to be part of this Booking Manager Summit. It's the first time. I hope I'll be here in the next year as well. So I'll try to bother you a little bit about the technology, and first of all, photography. Why photography? Because in the 360 virtual tours, the basic things and the core of the project is the photography. The photography today, we can see in regular photography, like you have your own wall on your house. Probably everybody have you at home some kind of image of photography or a nice part of art, which you probably choose and you like, because most of you, as I am, as a visual types, and you like to have something nice. So same is in this business, in the charter business, that if you like to promote your boats or you promote your vessel, whatever, you need the quality photos. So this is the basic element or what we need to produce 360 virtual tours. So this is one of just one of the example of the photos I found on the web page that one of the charter companies promoting themselves with this photo, and they think that they will, let's say, have something something good on the web page, and that's the final result they will approach to their customer. I take some time, and actually I took the same boat, really easy, very fast, and take this photo, which is totally different view, and actually is example how the regular photos should be to promote the boats. This is one example of the Bantus yachting boat, which is old boat, is not new boat. We actually leave all the, let's say, flaws or damages they have on the boat, but this is right example how the original or the basic photo should be. So why explain this? Because in the 360 photography, you have to have a knowledge and equipment to make a quality basement. The quality basement of the photography we use to produce VR or, let's say, 360 virtual tours. So virtual tours let you see a place on the screen in a way that is more similar to actually experiencing in the real life. What this means, that actually you have feel that you're walking through the space. And in the past time, without virtual tours, you will find the web page, you'll find a photo which will represent, let's say, the boat or the hotel or anything else that you want to pay or you want to book. So what is the behind that photo? You don't know. So in a virtual tours can generally contain many different types of media and tools such as photos, panoramas, videos, and audio. We'll go in the next steps. I'll show you how it looks like, because the virtual tours we create is a product, not only the visual product you'll just see. So while others might already consider a single photo, slideshow, or video, or virtual tour, we consider a virtual tour to be based on the panorama with interactivity options. Interactivity options can be a really, really huge palette of the options or the system we integrate. But first of all, I just want to show you how we create photography in 360. So basically, you have different kind of equipment. You have all-in-one cameras with 2 lenses, and you can shoot very easy. You don't need any special knowledge. And you have professional cameras we use, and we use multiple images to create a sphere. The sphere you can see on the left side, the sphere actually is a place you can see with virtual glasses or on the computer or your phone. So you can turn around and you can see every element of the boat in real life. So how we can get it? So we are making multiple images, and combining them in a panorama, which you can see on the right side, which is a 2D, and then later using in a special software to create experience. So just for a quick analyze, I did some comparison about all-in-one cameras and professional cameras we use and making those panoramas for the virtual tours. We're actually getting about, I think it's 15 or 16 times more resolution and more dynamic range and more quality in the photo. So later on, you'll see in some examples what that means, because in some images you can really crop, you can go really in the details, which is a totally different experience than the flossy or bad photography in the 360. Okay, so how we apply 360 virtual tours, how we can apply, and what we actually today in our market use. So most often in real estate sales. So when you talk with the people on the streets or anybody else, you'll get information. Oh yeah, I saw that apartment or the house or something like that. Said we don't need that. We need something different in our charter business. But I'll show you how we can apply those 360 virtual tours in a very quality way, because this, we call that a tool, not just a visual experience. So most often, those virtual tours are in low resolution and bad recordings. I found that almost 99% of 360 virtual tours today on the market are on external hosting. Why is that important? I'll touch some of the details, but Luka will show you really huge advance of that. We don't use that, but this is normally you'll find on the market. 99% is no interactions. Why interactions? Because interactions will collect more gain on the web page and will actually shows your guests all kind of stuff you want to show them in the boat or the vessel. So usually it's not personalized design. You'll say, okay, I don't need design. Yeah, then why you use the web page with your own design? Design is very important to place your company in the same place with the virtual tours as you have on the web page. So you can combine those two things. no tracking or quality analytics. I'm a little bit expert, but Luka is more expert about analytics. We actually use in the last year and something lots of data to show and to showcase you today what is the main purpose of our module in analytics in virtual tours. And the final, there is no CTA or call to action integration. Call to action integration is very important. We will show you how it looks like on the button reacting one of the call to action interaction. And this is something when you can collect a booking or any kind of information for your guests on the virtual tours. Or not only for the virtual tours, also on your web place. So how should we apply 360 virtual tours? I'll show you what actually people think about virtual tours, what the tutorials make of today on the market, but how should we apply it in any presentation of the space. So don't bother you about, oh, I need a big space or something like that. It's very difficult to shoot the boats, but when you see something, what we create, you realize what is the advantage of the presentation of the boats in the virtual tours. High resolution. This is my goal, and when I started with 360 virtual tours, I said to myself, I'm a photographer, I want to provide max as possible. We're trying to do max as possible still, and in the future we will do that probably more. Use GTM or Google Analytics. Organic search indexing is very important. Luka will show you why. This is the main goal you'll get from our virtual tours, because integration of all those elements is the key of any business, not only the charting business. So 100% interaction, photo galleries, video clips, iframes, and web frames option, and integration of the registration and booking. This is just a piece of the elements we can do and we can provide in our 360 virtual tours. Personal design, I already mentioned that. It's very important. And we can use any client standard or business book, not the business book, but design book or the standards. Call to action registration, option is similar, the mailing list, etc. Contact with the customer, video call, etc. So we can integrate direct video call in our virtual tools. We have some companies that already use that, and it's very useful for the, let's say, hotels or the bigger place facilities, that you can do integration and the call direct in the tour and shows the customer all your elements in the place, and it's much easier to. It's like you walking or you walk with your client through your place. The possibility of sharing your content, yes, always from your domain. We'll talk later about that. Why our domain was not some external hosting or some external servers. That's the why of the main important reason why we start to cooperate. Because when I approached Luka, and Luka already had some 360 virtual tours, the first question he asked me, like, can we do that in our hosting? I said, yes, okay, we talk. So that was the deal maker. Deal maker. And we can create 360 video tours for the YouTube. And the final, but not least, that is the quiz options we can integrate. So you can call your customers to answer some questions or do the review. Or you can actually show the reviews of some customers in the virtual tours. Okay, maybe it's too much technical elements, but I can talk about this all day, all night. Okay, how should we achieve this? Yeah, we have to understand the product. So if you understand your product, probably yes, and you know what elements you need to show your guests, that's probably the best way we can collaborate. So the main elements, the most of the elements you know, and you want to integrate, that's the way how you actually, it's easy for us to understand your product. And we can do it much faster. So integration of 360 virtual tools on your hosting, yes, I mentioned that, and creation of your URL destinations. So this is, again, one of the best things on your hosting, that you can use the shortcuts, the shortcodes, and send your agents or anybody else in the industry the specific place on your boat or your hotel or whatever you have, and they can direct approach. We're doing some kind of new integrations and for the maintenance or something like that on the boat. So especially with now with the NCP, we'll try to do some places where it's difficult to find for the customer, for the guests, to integrate in the virtual tours. So it will be much easier for them to find like valves or some switches or something like that. Application of Google Tools. Luka will talk later about that. Communication with our developers, to understand of your complex product. Yes, keeping statistic. Statistic is something behind that you can collect and improve your remarketing. So that's why we call our 360 virtual tours a tool. And use of VirtualWalks in product presentation. So if you go in some other places and you want to present your boats, you can use the virtual tours to present your jobs, your business. Of course, and if you want to present some of the new services. So our 360 virtual tours are adaptive. So in the future, we can change it. I'll show you later how it looks like on the menus or some things we improved in the last year with a Bantours yachting. So let's have a look. Let's have a look.
I'll open it now.
Yeah, thank you, Luka. We
Sorry,
have
question for the technical team. Can we have the pop-up window here?
We have no. Okay.
1 second.
We have
okay.
Yeah. Okay. So Luka. So this is one example of the boat direct. We are now online. Some of the elements I mentioned is the new menu we did this year, because we integrate some of the call to action system. So if you see the email button here on the right side, if you click on the button, you'll get automatically, you'll open your email app, and the subject line will be automatically generate with the boat name. So the customer, the guest, doesn't need to know which boat is that. They'll send the email with automatic subject line. We also integrate videos, the locations, and it's a very cool feature is this one.
Okay.
So we can show the floor plan. So anytime you want to see where you are and which direction you look, the system will show you. And even if you want to walk through the boat with the hotspot, you can do it also on the floor plan, actually on the deck of the boat. Okay. This is.
Sorry,
now,
I'm just browsing with my head in the other way. So if you want something to show them, please.
Yeah,
please
that's basically basically this. The main key of the system we produce, that we can change and we can integrate in the future any kind of module. So that's why as photography is the basic. So if we have a good photography base, we can adapt, or we can make any other module in the future without shooting a boat again. Okay, that would be that.
Do you want me to close it?
Yeah, please.
Okay. 1 second.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
I'm supposed to be a fairly good aim.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll leave it to Luka, because I think this is the most important note here now.
No pressure.
And
thanks.
today, yeah, here.
Yeah, thanks, Roman. I mean, every time I look at this 360, it really looks great. I mean, of course, I know all of our Celiacs in the fleet, and the level of similarity between the VR and real life, what you see, is something else. I mean, I hope you will be able to explore some type of the vessel that eventually you will end up on, and you will see firsthand how this is really a fascinating way to present anything. So yeah, Roman touched on this: Google Analytics, Tag Manager, URLs, hosting. This technology actually brings more added value than it meets the eye. Of course, it's pleasant to look at and to get to know the property, but behind the curtain there is a vast amount of data being created constantly in real time simply by having your web page visitors use this feature. And I think the holy grail of each organization should be to develop a system how to map out and have a system for saving and storing various sets of data, and later being able to analyze any part of the data that your normal workflow actually creates. It's no different with this piece of the puzzle. More data that you can have with the usage of the 360 virtual walks just should help to make some decisions be easier or more have more quality behind them. I'll share 3 things that I think are important how to approach any type of data, and especially this kind as well. It's important to understand that to tackle any number of data points or entries into the system, you need to approach it in an organized fashion. You need to put a lot of attention and energy toward it in order to serve properly. The second thing is, I can and will share some insight in the later slides, but it is important to develop your own system. I see something from this data, my colleagues see something else. Literally every single one of us will see things that are important to them. And you just have to spend time with it. The third part, which I already partly mentioned, since it arrives constantly in real time, my only 2 cents is that this usage and approach to the analysis be reoccurring. Whether it's weekly, monthly, or in some other way, you simply have to do it constantly in order to keep track of the latest changes or events that are being created by your web page visitors. So let us begin a short data story. For this presentation, I analyzed data within a certain time frame for our whole fleet, and I think it will showcase just how useful the 360 virtual walks are with this in mind. Our fleet operates, as some of you know, 44 to 4 grand large models, and they range from 5 to 2 cabins, as you can see on the slide. My analysis first showed me the percentage of events being created on each individual 360 virtual walk, and I combined them to see how much our 5-cabin boats produce events, how much 4 cabins, and so on. And I'm sure that when you look at this, you would say, okay, Bantur's 4-cabin sail yachts are the most appealing. We'll continue to do this, and Roman, please give me back my money. I won't use it for 2-cabin boats. But at the same time, when I say that out of 44 sail yachts, we have 19 total 4-cabin sail yachts, then I believe these percentages tell a different story. Same thing can be said for our 2-cabin sail yachts. We only have 4 of them out of 44. So again, this percentage says something different. What's most important for our story is that actually when you do a quality cross-reference of various data points, all of our models, regardless of size or age, are almost equally appealing and looked at in a similar number of cases. So I think this is an important first find for me. Okay, 360 is appealing. It's appealing not to a specific type, age, or any other characteristic, but across the fleet. What did our data show next? Now the Google Tag Manager and everything else comes into play. When a person arrives at the 360 virtual walk, I know the place he entered, I know the steps he took and went from point 1 to point 3, 4, 5, where he exited the 360 web page. What did he click or did not click? We can see everything. This is why it's important to understand events. I'm sure most of you know events are a term used by Google Analytics that showcase the flow of your customer. It's in an orderly fashion, shows what is being scrolled, clicked, opened, closed, anything else. It's like you're picking up the pieces after him and combining a story. Okay, he entered here, exited here, between those 2 points he did something. So what did we find? We found that 60% of the people that find themselves on the stern go straight down to the saloon. That's from number 1 to number 3. Some 7% of them, which is an importantly big number actually, go from the stern to the port side on the upper deck. So out of those combined who end up in the saloon, number 3, 35% of them will browse through the complete sail yacht. So as I always say in plain English, we get 100 people that come to the web page and see the 360 virtual walk. 24 of them will get to know a complete sail yacht, our complete property or product, however you call it, for an extended duration of time. So every fourth visitor uses this and uses it for something he or she, I believe, achieves. And I found this also important. So the data story continues. Why do I think this is important? Well, in the same time frame, we took our complete audience, whether if it's Roman who came to our web page for 3 seconds, or it's you that were there for 3 hours. And we just did a rough estimate, a simple estimate. The average session time is 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Then we took a specific group segment. We said, give me all of the people in this time frame who come to the web page and 100% of the time at least visit the 360. And we got almost a 400% increase of time expenditure on our sail yachts, on our web page, in our ecosystem, right? So, I mean, that's an audience that give me these people. I don't care about these. This is something that interests me. Why do they spend so much time? I mean, we browse things constantly. I'm sure you browsed emails or something else between sessions. To browse something for 8 minutes, it's an eternity in this 6-second attention span world. So this is something that's also important. So now that I know that every fourth person visits our sail yachts through this technology, now that I know that they spend a lot of time during it, I want to know them more. They say know your customer is the single most important thing, and I think the most basic thing we can know is where do they come from. So here are some markets, some international markets that are most important to our little charter service. And then when we combine some other data points, these markets in the golden squares, every person that comes to our webpage from these markets and goes to the 360, on average spends 25% more time. So all of the people that come from Germany, Italy, Norway, or some other country being circled here, they spend 10 plus minutes on a web page. I can tell you for sure, 4 years ago when we did not have this technology, there was no way I was going to, on average, have somebody for 10 minutes on our web page. It's an eternity, believe me. Then we can cross-reference things a little bit more. In the blue squares, you can see what markets from do our clients visit the web page in general the most. And this is why I always say, which I'll touch a little bit later on, why is this important? There are clearly some markets that have registered all of these findings. It tells us a story, and this story should lead to some kind of a decision. But it doesn't have to be always like this. It can be like this. Where are these people? What are they doing? Siesta or something, I don't know. But it's equally important find, because this too tells a story. Maybe we can try something else. So I hope you could have witnessed what just a little bit of analytics and combining various data points or questions that arrived. Usage is the key. I mean, we simply all have to develop a habit of constantly asking questions, searching for habits, and I wrote this down in 5 steps. You have to cross-reference your data. Remember the events percentages for the 4 cabin sail yachts. I cannot say they are the most appealing and that's it. It's 100% of the time it's going to be flawed. So use a lot of data to prove or disprove previous or next claims. It's simply really, really important. Next, I'm sorry, this is wrongfully written. You should write down your findings. They should become some kind of reports. Those reports, as the way business should go, should be communicated, because sometimes these data points are important for the marketing team. Other times they can be really important for the booking team. And believe me, there are times that they are also important for the technical team. Somebody can ask a lot of technical questions that arise from the view of the 360. But anyhow, all of this communication within your company or department should always lead to a decision. This decision should be easier, cheaper, it could fast track something, but the decision makes a process of thinking finished. You launch it on the market and you get a completely new data set. New people arrive, then again, cross-reference, write down your findings, communicate, make a decision all over again. It's a constant process and it should not stop, it should only evolve. So hopefully through this really, really short presentation, I explained the power of the data behind the 360. And also keep in mind, it's only a piece of the puzzle. You have a lot more data entry points, I am sure. Newsletters, other parts of your web page, blogs, podcasts, social media, everything has to be written and visible, and it will help you a lot. I believe it has helped us a lot. I'm going to handle the ball to Roman once again, and I'm excited for him to show something that I hope will be the future that truly will require at least some of us to work together, because this is the only way to go. We have to work together.
Thank you, Luka. Now probably you understand why always using a word domain, hosting, that kind of things. Because only in that way, when we place the project, the 360 Virtual Tours, on your domain with your URLs, you can collect those data. You can collect the data if you have external hosting or something similar you can find on the market, but you'll get just the numbers. You had 50 visitors or 100 visitors or 1,000 visitors this month, and that's it. This is not the data you need. You need those data. You need the data of your visitors, where they comes from, how long they stay, and finally, the gain and the Google search index and algorithms will always be on your side when the customer will spend that much time on your domain. So, okay, let's go next. When we develop and when we work in production for the virtual tours, we're using two main different views. You'll probably ask, yeah, but it's easy. Today we use in a web developing, we use responsive design. This is a little bit different because we actually produce 360, and this is not a web page. This is just coding of HTML. But why is it important to produce separately? Because most of the people, and today I think it's more than 60% of the visitors will use the mobile phone, but still we have desktop users, and finally we have iPad or tablet users. So we have to create a specific part in our 360 virtual tools, which is the elements inside, like PDFs, in a different way. So to be easy and to be easy to view on the different kind of devices. So we have here two different views. One is the phone, one is the desktop. This is a PDF that Bantur's using for the show, like information, we have two PDFs, I think.
Yeah, actually, one shows the complete inventory of the boat, what awaits you when you arrive. So
Yes.
complete, like from the number of glasses or towels to anything else. And the second one is our service book, where we showcase 9 areas of service being done each winter over a 5+ month period of time.
Yeah. So these PDFs from our virtual tours, you can copy, you can save, you can tag, or you can print. So the customer or the guest, before they come on the boat, they can print that in their house, and having with him on the boat. Let's see. This is a different example, what we actually worked 2 months ago. Luka called me in September and said, we have videos, we have some other elements we want to integrate it. So what we can do? So what was the process? So we used the all tours, all 360 virtual tours we already made, but we changed the menus. We integrate some other actions. We changed the menus. You can see on the mobile view is extended menu, and actually we can collapse. So we have more place on the phone to view the 360. And we integrated a video, and actually we integrated 2 videos. One is for the desktop view, which is a 16:9, and one is for the mobile view, which is a 9:16. Otherwise, if it's the responsive system of the view, you'll get just the part of the video on your mobile phone, and that's going to be really worse. So this is just the parts and the elements we can change in the future. So nothing is fixed. Everything can be changed, and now we're trying to also going in the next step to integrate important things, the important views for the guests. Like the guest will calls you all the time, like, oh, I cannot find the valve to switch my tank to the second tank, all kind of stuff, and you can just send a link, and I will see in a real view, in a real 360, where is the tanks, and can do it very easily. So it's a lots of features we can do it. This is a short video you can send to your agent or the customers, but
yeah, it started automatically.
It started automatically. Yeah. So you can see that in the back end is one virtual tours. In the front end, in iframe, actually is a virtual tours of the Bantours. So this is a video. Now we'll go live, and I'll show you.
Sure. Do you want to navigate this one?
Yeah, we can do it together.
A second. Where is my? Here we are.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these elements now we're trying to make something bigger, and it's a cluster. So what is a cluster of the virtual tours? So let's say this is a marina, and we have lots of hotspots here. You can see those hotspots can be restaurants, all kind of the gas station, all kind of marketing stuff you want to promote on the virtual tour, and then you can go down. Okay. Now we're on the pier, and now we can see the Bantours yachts on the pier. So if you go in this, it's a little bit tricky here with that mouse. Now As I mentioned, now we go in another domain, actually in the domain of the band tours, and now we are on an iframe in the boat in the band tours. Previously, we were on the marina hosting. So the system now will recognize that band tours is getting traffic, and still we are on the cluster in the back end, on the, let's say, in a marina view. So we can integrate multiple 360s in a one cluster, which means that if you have marina and you have a 10 or 15 charters, with the virtual tours, we can integrate in a one cluster and make that more popular on the web. And I think I'm done.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah, so thank you all for listening and for being here with us. I hope it was helpful. Luka, want to say something?
Yeah, I would just like to thank you for your attention, and hopefully just a little bit this explains better how I think technology will benefit all of those parties involved. I mean, we want to work together, we have to work together. It just let's develop a sense where this together is. It can be 360, it can be a lot of other technologies, and perhaps this latest thing that Roman showed. Imagine jumping into a marina, having 400 boats up for charter, and each one you enter, you respect Banter's property, NCP property, marina property. It's a really superior way to collaborate. And what I always say, just imagine anybody from, let's say, Germany getting offers for their sailing from some destination other than Croatia with those old types of photos. And let's imagine that everybody in Croatia actually can provide this, or at least most of us. He is one step closer, I'm sure, to Croatia. And this is a common goal we, I think, can all work on. And if I can help in any other way, I'll be happy to share my knowledge. Thanks.
Thank you.
Of course, if there are any sorts of questions, we took time for that as well.
Yeah, and the coffee
so
as well.
yes.
Or photograph the boat until this finished product.
Roman says 6 weeks, then I say 2 days, and we meet in the middle.
In the middle.
Let's say for the regular shooting of for the 360, we can make, if we have good weather, like 4 or 5 boats per day, and then production will take about maybe 15, 20 days, 25 days later. So it depends how many boats. Mm-hmm. So let's say for the 20 boats, we can do that after the shooting. We can do that, let's say, in 1 month to finish the production.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ready on? Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're giving us a heads up. But I always want to stay longer, you know. Get out, get out. Sorry, are there any other questions?
Is the mic working? Yeah, okay, great. I have a question just for Luka, maybe.
Sure.
Do you have the data on, I'm sure everybody's asking themselves this, like how many more bookings did you get after going to the 360 view? Let's say in percent.
Okay,
I know
so
it's a hard one.
No, it's not a hard one. We get more bookings, but we certainly get more bookings because of this technology. But it's not a straightforward path. You know, somebody will look at this during September, call our colleagues 2 months later, maybe make a booking in April. To really combine this complete customer flow, it's a whole bigger philosophy. But there are a lot of data points that prove that this really serves us good. And it's always nice to be number one. Back in 2018, we only said this is only available with us. No, I'm just joking. So, but yeah, it benefits bookings for sure. No brainer. Thanks.